One. So, welcome back. This is another edition of World History is Our History. Today, I got a special guest, Body by Bree. Please, feel free to introduce yourself. Before we
Hey
get.
y'all, it's your girl, Body by Bree. You know what it is here with Podcast Dre. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, get in with us
And
for all the good stuff.
and where can they tap in with you to
You could
follow
tap
you?
in with me on TikTok, you could tap you could tap in with me on TikTok, you could tap in with me on Threads, you could tap in with me on IG, at body BODY by BY BRY, not I.
Thank you. All right. So, with that said, today we covering Rafael Trujillo, the dictator who tried to whiten a nation. So the
Mm.
hot topic that everybody been kind of talking about is black
Me
Dominican.
Dominican.
Yeah.
Y'all is black mother freaker.
So
I gotta keep
this
it YouTube proved.
this man is low and high key the reason why some Dominicans, I'm not going to blanket and say all,
Right.
but some or a lot do have that mentality. So this guy, he ruled the country for over 30 years and literally tried to bleach his own image.
Hmm. He tried to rewrite history to his story.
Exactly. So, he started off in the military during the U.S. Occupation of the Dominican Republic. This was around 1918.
Right. And the US actually trained him, right? I think I
Exactly.
read he climbed the ranks fast, became head of the army by 1927, and then he used that power to take over in 1930.
Exactly. So once he got in, he took total control. He turned the whole country into his personal empire.
He even called himself El Jefe, which literally means the boss. And I mean, it fit. This man, he dead ass controlled the press, the army, the economy, everything. And while the economy was doing great, this man was doing more harm than good. And unfortunately, Dominicans didn't realize that at the time.
So yeah, during his time as a dictator, his rule was built on fear. He had secret police, which was called the SIM. They spied on everyone and eliminated anybody who spoke out.
Yeah, and while he was locking people up, he was also getting filthy rich. Like by the 1950s, he owned most of the Dominican economy himself. Nobody else.
But, he tried to get slick with it and he covered it up with a lot of public works such as building bridges, roads, schools, just to make himself look good, like he was trying to actually do good for the country, which to a degree he did by doing those things, but that covered up his theft.
Is that not the dictator's playbook? Build a few things, take all the credit, silence the critics.
Yeah, pretty much. So then, now this is where we get into the it's kind of the evil shit a little bit, dealing with racism and anti-Haitian ideology. So basically, Trujillo was obsessed with race. You know what I mean? Going back to
Mhm.
what them devils always say, why does everything gotta be about race? It was
Because it
this
is.
exactly. This devil, he was obsessed with race, especially with separating the Dominicans from the Haitians.
What? That's wild. Like, considering the two countries literally share the same island. But basically he pushed that idea that Dominicans were white, Catholic, and Spanish, while Haitians were black and African, but yet y'all on the same island.
Exactly. Like he even made people put Indio, meaning Indian, on their ID cards instead of black.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Basically trying to erase the African heritage from the record. He was in total denial.
Yeah, so as well, he cracked down on the Haitians living in border areas, banning Creole, trying to whiten those regions under lighter skinned settlers and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean that was the worst. That was really the worst part of it all. And to want to get into it, basically the Parsley Massacre in 1937. You could start that off, Dre.
Yeah, so in this, military operation, he ordered soldiers to kill thousands of Haitians along the border. They used the language test. If you couldn't pronounce the Spanish word uh, peri- perihil, which I guess translates to parsley, correctly, you were
Mhm.
executed. Like, that's some savagery.
Damn. I think I remember reading. I think about between like 10,000 and 30,000 people were killed just in a few days.
You know what I mean? That sound about right. It was Trujillo's way of purifying the border, trying to wipe out Haitian influence entirely.
Wow, damn. And after international backlash, he had to pay Haiti, I think about a half a mil, about 525,000 and reparations, but according to a lot of the Dominicans that I've spoke to, barely any family saw a dime of that money.
So to add insult to injury, he already showing his anti-blackness, what we just touched on. Now to further their white supremacy agenda, basically, dude, he invited white immigrants from Spain, Italy, the Canary Islands, as well as Jewish immigrants to settle into the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, and I believe he even took in Jewish refugees from Nazi Germany in the 1930s.
Yeah, that's crazy. So like, on
So he
this
was trying to make it sound good.
exactly. But it wasn't about compassion. He literally was trying to lighten up the Dominican race.
So he used humanitarian optics to push his eugenic style agenda. It's wild how much he mixed racism and politics, but yet it ain't about race.
Exactly. You know what I mean? He was following a similar playbook to America and all these other little colonized situations, but he just did that shit so direct and barbaric. But, there's a rumor that people were always talking about that he would always powder his face before going out in public. You know what I mean?
What? Yeah. No. Okay, yeah, I remember that. People said he used makeup or bleaching cream to look lighter skinned. He was literally obsessed with appearing white.
It's ironic that he pushed this whole idea of racial purity while literally trying to change his own complexion. You know what I mean? Sammy Sosa
Right,
ass.
exactly. It's like his entire life was one big performance. He was rewriting history, reshaping identity, repainting his own skin, trying to get his island to lighten up. Like he had too much going on.
Exactly. And when he was finally assassinated in
Finally, take him
1961,
out.
the country had been living under fear for 3 decades.
Damn, but you know what? We're talking about this literally because his racial ideology, the divide still it is still today because there is still a huge divide between Dominicans and Haitians.
Yep. And this is what one person can do. But his rule wasn't just political, it was psychological. He built the nation on fear and racial denial, and you might as well say racial self hate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the fact that people still talk about it means the scars he left on the island run deep. Like I keep saying, we are still talking about it. There's, you know, I'm not Dominican. I'm not black. I'm Dominican. Like that. That's something that is embedded. In all, like you said from the jump. But it is very relevant in a lot of Dominicans that I've come across. Honestly.
Yeah. And, like this one kid I was going back and forth with, earlier on Twitter, he was like, well, blacks, they push the rhetoric. And I told him, well, on the same side, y'all push the rhetoric. Well, y'all not. It ain't even rhetoric. Y'all say it to us so publicly, time and time again. You know what I mean? Look at the actress who, and I rock with Shorty as an actress, but she got her little award or whatever, and then she hit in front of the damn either the Emmys, the Grammys, one of them. She was like, basically, I know black, I'm Dominican. But yet,
Right.
every role that you've gotten in America, you are being presented for the most part as a black woman, with the exception of the role you played as Colombiana. That clearly
Right.
was a Latino
Right.
role. You played Nina Simone, goddamn it! It don't get blacker than that. So clearly, they the devils here in America see you as what you are. You know what I mean? But this is just a brutal reminder that power and insecurity, can destroy a whole generation. So,
Exactly.
and with that,
Exactly.
yeah.
Hopefully we taught y'all something. If you do, know a Dominican, know a Haitian, if you are one, either one yourself, let's try to educate ourselves and realize that at the end of the day, it shouldn't be, who's more fair skin or who's more darker skin. We all really from the same thing at the end of the day.
And then, the final gem is that, once again, Taino, Arawak, Carib, all of y'all motherfuckers come from the same people. Like black is defined based on where you at. You know what I'm saying? It could be defined as African. It could be defined as indigenous, because at the end of the day, this earth was a black planet. You know what I mean? Like, for those who are not black, who are just uneducated or unsophisticated, when you close your eyes, you must think a black person is somebody that's jet black. No, nigga, the majority of the people that's so called black are people my complexion. They like are a red to dark brownish red complexion, even yellow. Niggas always been in various colors this whole time. So however you take that how you gotta take it. Black could mean that you was originally
What is it usually
Olmec,
that you say, Dre? You
Aztec,
say, yeah.
Taino, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, you know what I mean? Whatever, nigga. But just understand that if you identify as more of the Caucasian side of your bloodline, when you clearly got evidence that says otherwise, then just understand that you might be dealing with some kind of trauma, my nigga, to want to identify with the identity, the nationality of an oppressor, rather than your indigenous roots of where your peoples really came from. That's it.
That's it, and that's all.
Cool. Thank you for rocking
Hope
with me.
y'all enjoyed that little history.
Exactly.